Went to Six Flags, had tons of parties, Halloween party, Christmas party, went to the Alive conference. We were the #1 giving youth group to Speed the Light in the state this past year. People all over the world were impacted by it. People in Africa were able to get clean drinking water. And then people in the country of Nepal were able to get the gospel reached in their village because Speed the Light could buy a snowmobile for missionaries to reach them. We're leading the entire state by example. There was 58 salvations and rededications as far as people giving their life to Jesus or rededicating their life to Jesus, because, that's awesome, right? That's awesome, right? 58 people? Yeah, it's awesome. And we're doing baptisms tonight, water baptisms tonight. So, there's just so many awesome things that have happened in just 1 year at this youth group. And a lot of you guys have been here from the get-go, and there's also a lot of you guys who joined along the way. And most importantly, though, you guys are all family. You guys are all a part of the youth fam. We love all you guys. So all of these things that have happened in the last year are great. But what's got me really excited is I know that God's going to do things that are even greater next year and in all the years to come. Right. You guys are going to have an even larger impact in your guys' schools. You guys are going to have an even greater impact on your sports teams. You guys are going to have a greater impact on your guys' families. All right? Even more people are going to come to the youth group. God's going to empower you guys even more. He's going to fill you up even more. Even more people will be saved. There's going to be more fun events. Kirsten, my fiance, is going to be moving down here in a month and a half. Holla. That's going to be good news for all you ladies. All right? And Logan and Emily. If you guys remember Logan and Emily Remich, all right, my friends from Minnesota, they're going to be moving down here, and they're going to be basically like an extra 2 youth pastors, all right? It's going to be awesome. We're going to be going on a missions trip next year. We're going to raise even more money for missions this year. We're going to impact even more people. We're going to probably be in a different place where we're meeting for youth services, an even bigger and better place next year. I'm just so excited for all the things that God is going to do in the next year and all of the years to come, because God has got more things for our youth group. And tonight, I just want to share a couple things with you guys, a couple things that God has put on my heart. I promise I'll keep it quick. So in Isaiah chapter 43, verse 19, if you guys want to look it up, that's fine. If not, it's no biggie. But in Isaiah chapter 43, verse 19, it says, "See, I am doing a new thing." That's God talking. See, I am doing a new thing. That's what tonight's about. We're talking about what God is doing. And what I just told you guys, all the things that have happened in the last year, that's just a little snapshot of what God has been doing in the life of this youth group. God's doing so much more in the lives of each and every one of you guys. And I hear testimonies either from you or from your guys' parents or from your guys' friends about what God is doing in your life. And, maybe you're here tonight and you're sitting there and maybe it's your first time. You're like, oh, wow, he just sat there and bragged. That's a great promo piece for the youth group. But the reality is this isn't a promo piece. It's a celebration of what God is doing and a celebration of what God is going to keep on doing. See, in Proverbs chapter 29, it says, "If people can't see what God is doing, they stumble all over themselves. But when they attend to what he reveals, they are most blessed." They are most blessed. When they attend to what he reveals, they are most blessed. Listen, guys, that's the reason why we're having this celebration, because we need to be aware of what God is doing. It says that if we're not aware of what God is doing, it says we stumble all over ourselves. But when we take the time to recognize what God is doing, when we take the time to recognize what God has done in your lives and what God has done in the life of this youth group, it says that we are most blessed. So I want you guys to know that the future is new. And the future is now. You're probably like, what the heck does that mean? That just sounds catchy. I'll explain that. So the first thing that I want you guys to know is God's future is happening now. Turn to your neighbor and say, it's happening now.
It's happening.
God's future is happening now. Now listen, even though things may last, things in your life may last for a long time, if God wills for that to happen, the reality is we're living in the future right now. We have an opportunity right now. God is moving right now. And if we only see the future as something that's way off in the distance, something that's way out there, something that we can't see or something that we can't reach, or, oh, that's so far away, I don't even want to think about it. Listen, what happens is it generates a loss of urgency. But God's future is happening right now. It's happening right now. Now is the appointed hour, the Bible always says. So this year, it was a unique year, right? It was a unique year with COVID and all of the different, hoops that we had to jump through at schools or on sports teams or even in the youth group. We had the Momentum tour was canceled for us. It was a new year for us, but, the reality is we're never going to be the same after this year. And honestly, I pray that that's true. I pray that you guys are never the same after this year. You guys are never the same that you were this year. You guys keep on growing, and the reality is the church is growing. And honestly, I celebrate this all the time that this youth group was able to grow despite the way the last year was. I talked to so many different youth pastors from across the state and honestly from across the country at different times that I've talked to them, and so many of them were discouraged because their youth groups were just shrinking by so much, and they're like, man, we're only at 30% of where we were before, and it's so discouraging. And then they ask me, and I'm like, honestly, we keep on growing, and that, I can't take any credit for that. That's just a sign that God is clearly moving in here, because exactly 1 year ago today, we had 7 people. Look around. There's a lot more than 7 people here right now, right? And there's over 10 kids that are on vacation right now who would normally be here. So that's so evident that God is moving. God is building his church. God isn't sitting there waiting for COVID to get over. He's not sitting there waiting maybe once everyone gets a vaccine, then I'm going to choose to start growing New Hope Youth. No, God is moving now. God's building his church now. The future is now. We see in Matthew chapter 16, it says, I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail over it. Or, basically what that means, the gates of hell or COVID, or the gates of the economy, or depression, or anxiety, or fear, or you fill in the blank. The gates of whatever will not prevail against it. I will build my church. The second point is God's future is new. Turn to your neighbor and say it's new.
New.
God's future is new.
I think it's pretty new.
We see in Isaiah chapter 43, verse 19 again, it says, see, I am doing a new thing. Say new thing. I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? So guys, God's doing new things. The best is yet to come. The best is not behind you. The best is not in the past. We're grateful for the past and we're grateful for everything that God has done, but the best is yet to come. All right, we're looking forward to the future in hope and anticipation, believing that God has great things for this youth group because his word says so. We see again in Isaiah chapter 42, verse 9, it says, behold, the former things have come to pass, and new things I now declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them. So God's got new things for you too. God doesn't just have new things for this youth group. He's got new things for each and every one of you guys. All right? There's never going to be a single person who's sitting here right now where you're going to be like, I've experienced it all. I've seen it all. God's done everything that he could in my life. That's never going to happen. God's always got new things, and God loves to do new things. We're going to do new things this year as a youth group. We're going to do a lot of things this year that we did not do last year. And what's so cool is the message of the gospel never changes, but God does do a lot of new things. We're going to do something, we're going to go on a missions trip this year. That is so stinking cool, and I can't wait for that. We're going to do more things where we're reaching out in your guys' schools. We're going to have more opportunities. We're going to do more outreach things. There's so many new things that we're going to do this year, but the message of the gospel stays the same. So I want to ask you guys tonight, to do something tonight. I want you guys to ask God, what do you want to do in my life this year? God, what new thing do you want to do with me this year? Maybe you're sitting there and you're going from middle school to high school, or maybe you just graduated high school and you're taking the next step and you're going into college or whatever that looks like next for you. Maybe you're moving schools or whatever it is, but God, what do you want to do in me this year? What new thing do you want to do in me this year? I want you guys to ask God that tonight, because tonight's not just about what God's doing in this youth group. It's about what God's doing in you guys' lives individually. If you guys can sing or you guys can play an instrument, go and talk to Callie about joining the worship team. Seriously, maybe you guys can think of a way that you can use a gift or something you're passionate about, a way to raise money for Speed the Light. Maybe God's calling you to start a prayer group before your school starts. Maybe you're supposed to meet with a bunch of Christians at your school, and you're supposed to pray for your school for 10 minutes each day before school. Whatever it looks like. Maybe God wants you to start inviting more of your friends to youth group, and you guys got to stop being a Sally at school and being afraid of, being ashamed of the gospel. Maybe God wants you to start a Bible study like Callie did at her house, just a month ago. Whatever it is, I want you guys to ask God what he wants to do in your life this year. I want you guys to be a part of what God's doing. I don't want you guys to just be spectators, all right? I don't want the majority of you guys to just watch what a couple people in this youth group are doing for God. I want you guys to be a part of it. And the third is God's future is miraculous. God's future is miraculous. Someone say it's miraculous. It's miraculous. That was very enthusiastic. Thank you guys. I can tell you're tired. Say it again. Miraculous. It's miraculous. All right? Listen, we're living in a very, very exciting time in the life of New Hope Youth. Let me tell you guys right now, the best is yet to come. All right, I know that's true. The best is yet to come. We see again in Isaiah 43, I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland. Listen, guys, God's still doing miracles. He's building his church by doing miracles. I mean, who would have imagined that the last year was going to look like it was? But we see in Isaiah 43, it says, I am making a way in the wilderness. I'm making a way in the desert. Who would ever look at the desert and see it as a highway or as a way of life? But God says, I'm going to build something in a barren place. I'm going to build something in an empty place. And then it says, streams in the wasteland. I'm making a way with streams in the wasteland. Who would look at a wasteland as a life-giving stream? You look at it and you say, no, it's a wasteland. There's no life there. There's no fruit there. There's nothing good there. It's a wasteland. But God says, no, I can flow through a wasteland. I can bring a stream that will bring life through a wasteland. And I think that when I read that scripture, I just can't help but think about, this youth group that started 1 year ago today, that God is making a stream in the wasteland. And, that first verse, it tells us that God delights in doing the impossible, taking a situation that seemed like it would lead to a defeat and then bringing victory out of it. If you would have told me a year ago, last summer, that we would have grown and I would have seen God do so many things in your guys' life in the last year, despite all of the restrictions that we've had in the last year. I mean, really, stuff didn't start to open up until the last couple of months, right? If you would have told me, all of you guys that I was going to meet this year, I would have thought you were crazy. And I remember I'm going to be real, I was getting really discouraged with Pastor Phil last summer because when I moved here in May, I thought that COVID was just going to be a figment of our imagination in a couple months. I was like, man, by the time school starts in August, COVID's not going to be a thing anymore. It's going to be a thing of the past. And then it just seemed like it kept on going on and on and on. And I was getting discouraged. I was like, man, is this ever going to end? But despite that, God doesn't care about that. God wasn't like, let's wait until COVID's over for people to start coming to New Hope Youth. Let's wait till people get a vaccine for me to start moving in people's lives and start doing awesome things. It's so cool. God loves to do things to take situations that look like a defeat and bring victory out of it. COVID. And I don't know what you guys need tonight, but tonight it ought to show you guys that God still does miracles and God is still moving, and God doesn't just do crazy things in the Bible. He's still doing those things today. He's still a God who does the impossible, and it says in the Bible that he delights in doing the impossible. He delights in doing miracles. And real quick before I close, I just want to close with this. I know that I talked to you guys about the idea of legacy, and I've talked to you guys about that in the past. There's something about being obedient to God and being obedient to the calling that God has put on your life and having faith in God to do something big that creates a legacy. Because, it's not just about you and me, and it's not just about the people that are in this room. It's about the people who will come after us. Because, guys, this is just the beginning of New Hope Youth. And it can be easy to say, oh, well, the people who come after us, they'll figure it out. They're the leaders or the other students there, they'll figure it out then. But here's the thing. I want to do everything in my power, and I want you guys to do everything in your power to set the pace for everyone that comes after us. I want you guys to set the pace for everyone who's going to come after us. So that way they can know that when God calls on them to step out in faith, that they can know that God is trustworthy, that they can know that God holds up his promises. They can know that they can trust in God, and that when he speaks to you, that you don't need to be afraid. So that they can know that God has his hand on this youth group, and that miracles still happen. So I say, let's start a legacy, guys. Let's create a legacy here at New Hope Youth. All right? You guys do that?
Yeah.
So listen, we're not gonna end the night with like a slow song. No. Listen, we're gonna start a legacy. All right, this was year 1 of a legacy, so we're gonna party. All right, because this year was awesome, but all the years to come after this are gonna be even better. All right, so I need everyone to get back up on your feet and come up front, and we're gonna party. All right.